Hi there, Rick here. I want to talk to you about a job that I done about 3 weeks ago. We're installing 10 windows and two patio doors, okay, at a house. And it was with my coworker Chris, and he had a friend. His name was Derek. Okay, he was working at Central Windows, and he helped them, get a deal on the windows. Got it for a special price, right? Just because he worked there, and Derek. Okay, all his experience was mainly work in the warehouse, right? He didn't really know how to do installs. Okay, um, a lot of people, you know, some people that what is it um, that knew him, okay, they thought that he would know how to do his installs, but you have to remember that's a totally new skill, okay. And I'm not trying to bash Derek here, okay. I'm just trying to point out that he had a skill of, okay, work in the warehouse. He doesn't know how to do installs. And is it? So Chris and I were showing him a lot of things, uh, how to use different tools that day, how to pick up the window properly, okay? Because you have to lean it a certain way sometimes when you're carrying the big windows. Otherwise, your partner is find it difficult to carry the window. Um, and one of the tools that he wasn't used to using was um, the cat's claw. Okay, basically it's a nail puller. Okay, and I think that was the first time of him even using the cat's claw. So, a lot of times when I saw him use it, I just told him, Derek, let me do it. Just because I knew that there was a lot of work that day. I didn't want the job to go too slow. I wanted to get finished within, an 8-hour day, right? So, he watched me do it, okay? And what else? We we had to put back on a lot of siding, okay? And I have experience while vinyl siding whole houses, right? And so does Chris. So he was having trouble, putting the siding on. But you have to remember that, okay, that's not his uh, what is it? He's not used to doing that sort of work, okay? And so I was helping him out a lot too to do the siding. I think a lot of times I said to Derek, I said, okay, it's fine. Let me do it, Derek. Just because I could get it done a lot faster, and I know that it would be done properly. Because what was happening was, um, uh, sometimes the siding was a little bit, it wasn't level, it was crooked a bit, okay. And but that only comes with experience, being able to have a good eye for level, okay. um, a lot of times a new worker, okay, um, like say for instance, okay, they say that, okay, they've been doing this work for so long, and you realize that the guy doesn't even have an eye for level. That um, you know he's likely lying to you about his skill level, right? um, so Derek was well, he was very attentive, okay. And he I could tell that, okay, he had a willingness to want to learn, right? So that's good, because um, you have a worker that you could show something to, and that he's going to remember it the next day. Just because, well, I've had workers where I showed them something, and then the next day they already forgot what I showed them. So why bother even showing them to do stuff, right? um, when I first started doing the work, the boss realized that, yeah, I was an attentive worker. Okay, if he showed me how to do something, I would remember it the next day. And he showed me how to do a lot of stuff. Okay, um, and it's a lot of bosses, they like workers like that, right? Um, but everybody has to start somewhere too. Okay, that's what I said to Derek too, right? Um, because you know most of his experience was working in the warehouse. Okay, it wasn't, um, you know, knowing how to go out and do installs. Okay, remember too, I have 1 year of commercial experience, so I know how to install commercial windows too. Okay, um, I know how to take them apart. Okay, um, I remember there was, what was it? Um, there was a window, apartment building, and it was uh, uh, it was a casement window, okay, glass that was broken, okay, and was it maybe about uh, 10, 12 story apartment, okay. I don't know how it got broke, okay. I didn't ask the customer. I just went in there to replace the glass, but it was a metal frame. It was a commercial window, okay. And I took it apart and 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 replaced the glass, put it back together, and the customer was happy. He paid his bill, okay. Um, but that's where the experience comes in, okay. You know, it's I was gonna say that you're basically hiring a glazer, okay, to do the work, okay. If you send somebody out from the warehouse, okay, to try to, well, do the service call or something like that, right? They just cannot do it, okay. Um, just because they're used to work in the warehouse, you ask them to, deglaze a glass, sometimes, yeah, they don't know how to do it, okay. Even when I was working in the warehouse and doing service calls, there were some things that I didn't know, okay. So I had to talk to the technician, building the windows, okay. He would show me, how to do it, okay. And I would watch him do it sometimes, okay, at his workstation, okay. And then I had to go on the road and then go, do it at the customer's house, okay. So, there is quite a bit to learn, I would say, because you need a combination of install experience, being able, knowing how to drive the service van. That was, kind of difficult to drive sometimes, just because you have to remember, okay, it's a wide service van, okay, and it's got a rack on outside on either side of the service van, okay, so you're quite wide. Sometimes you're going down narrow roads, yeah, you got to be careful, because if you're not careful, you will you'll hit something with that side rack, okay. I know that the other service guy, he actually backed in to something, and he bent the rack on the service van, and I know that the owner, he wasn't too happy by that, okay, because now you damaged the service van. He has to get it fixed, okay. Just to get that fixed, I wouldn't be surprised it would maybe costed $700-800. The reason why I say that is because you need a metal fabricator, okay, to fix that that dent in the rack, plus straighten it out properly, right? Yeah, I could have seen the metal fabricator charging about $700-800 to get that work done, just because it's really expensive. You're paying almost about $60 an hour for shop rate, okay. So back to the story again of the install, okay. We got done, I think, within about 9 hours that day, okay. Derek was, yeah, he was nice to work with. I liked working with him, okay. He, I could relate to, things when I would talk to him, just because, I've worked in the warehouse for quite a few years too, and I have quite a bit of experience doing this work too, okay. And once when you get good at something, okay, usually you should be able to do it even faster too, the longer you do it, okay. Now I'm talking about maybe, okay, you've passed a year now, okay, maybe even a year and a half or 2 years, okay. You're doing the same thing over and over again, okay? So you should be improving, okay? And think too that there's just what is it? There's a lot of guys out there. Okay, now I'm talking about the guys, the actual contractor guys. Okay, like when I was working for one of the contractors for one of the big vinyl window company, right? And he doesn't want to pay that much, right? He expects this much work to be done in an 8-hour day, right? And you can't what is it? You can't expect that work to be done too in the given time too, especially sometimes too if you look at the amount of skill of your worker too, right? So I just wanted to, like I say, point out the different skills that you need. Working in the warehouse or working as installer, right? Because it's two totally different skills, okay? And you can't send workers out from the warehouse to go do installs if they have no experience, okay? Because you have to remember the work is sometimes dangerous, okay? You're lifting up sometimes maybe a 200-pound window up 2 stories, right? If the person doesn't know how to grab it properly or even is not strong enough to grab it, okay? The thing can come crashing down, 20 feet high, right? And kill the person at the bottom, okay? And another thing, what was it? That was probably dangerous, okay? The manager hired me to work in the warehouse, okay? So my coverage, okay, to do the work, okay, covered me as a worker in the warehouse, okay? I shouldn't have even been out on the road doing the installs because that's totally something different now, right? Because, of course, okay, I'm an employee of the company, okay, doing work in the warehouse, okay? If I'm going out doing installs, then I'm no longer even in the warehouse, okay? So it's a liability issue, okay? And I've seen it, okay, even at Best Buy. When Best Buy was sometimes, they were delivering something to the customer's car. I told the Best Buy worker, my truck is over there. Can you help me load, my appliance into my car? He goes, sorry, no, I can't. You have to bring your car to the front door here. Under my, my coverage, okay, for my safety, it only covers me to the front door of the building of Best Buy. I'm not supposed to be going to the parking lot to load appliance, okay, into the customer's truck, okay. So I'm at the warehouse, okay, going out because the manager's sending me out to to help the installers install the vinyl windows, because a lot of the crews too, they only had a few weeks to even sometimes a few months of experience. Remember, I already had 2 years full-time experience installing these vinyl windows and patio doors, right? So if I got hurt for whatever reason on the job site, okay, I probably wouldn't be covered, okay, of my injury, just because I was hired to work in a warehouse. I had no business being out on a job site installing vinyl windows and patio doors, okay. I don't think any of the contractors asked me to operate any power tools, okay, because you have to remember sometimes you have to operate a skill saw with a spinning blade, okay, which is very dangerous, okay. If you've never operated a skill saw in your life before, do not grab it, okay. Just believe me, do not grab it, just because even with all the the years experience that I had, okay, I almost killed myself about 2 times with that. Actually, I think 3 times with that skill saw, just because Um, Sometimes the blade got stuck in the metal when I was cutting it out, and sometimes there was a kickback. Okay, and to make a long story short, the blade, hit me in the chest. Okay, but lucky the guard went down and it hit me in the chest, and I wasn't hurt. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I would have bled out at the job site. A skill saw, cutting about what, um, 3-4 inches into my chest. Yeah, that would definitely have killed me. It would have cut right through my heart. Yeah, probably, and yeah, I would just bled out. I wouldn't be alive anymore. But remember too, you're getting paid for the danger work too. Okay, which should not be, well, minimum wage too. Okay. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to talk about this job that I done about 3 weeks ago. With Derek, just trying to point out, yeah, you need uh, a totally different skill set, okay, to install vinyl windows and patio doors, okay. Um, and it's a good skill to have because well, look at all the commercial windows, or even the windows on people's homes that are installed in the Lower Mainland each day, right? It's a lot, okay? And, well, the boss that I worked for, okay, he was busy enough that, yeah, he could keep me employed for 40 hours a week throughout the entire year, okay?